It's about 3:30 at our TV station in Fresno. Got my camera hitting the road for 5 state playoff games, 3 soccer, 2 basketball. It's a whirlwind. And speaking of the Golden Eagles, this afternoon Vance Wahlberg took the entire team to Bob Barnett's house. And who's Bob Barnett? He is the legendary Central Section historian. His house is basically a museum. Maybe the most impressive thing is that Kingsburg and Emmanuel combined to score 60 points, because it is not easy shooting hoops on a donkey. Lake Tahoe is going to be a good call no matter what time of year you come. When there's snow on these mountains and it looks like this, I mean, honestly, I don't know where you can go ski that's more beautiful. She was homecoming queen. She was a valedictorian. She led the Grizzlies to their first ever Valley title in volleyball. She's going to play volleyball in college. I heard him saying 1-11 2 years ago. 1-11 2 years ago. He just kept repeating it, and it bears repeating. The remarkable turnaround. By the way, I originally went caving in October. This is what just the entrance looks like here on the last day of April after the winter we had. So probably going to be a little while before you want to come trekking through here. In other news, Ralph, I've watched about 25 party buses unload and take pictures here in front of the sign in the last hour, and no one bothered me. So I'm going to get out of here unscathed while I can. Emotion and inspiration, 2 of the most powerful aspects of sports, both on full display Thursday at a Reedley High School boys basketball game. A memorable night for a special student athlete.
And starting at guard, a 5'5" senior, wearing number 14, Jack.
The heart and soul of Reedley. I would explain Jack right there.
It's senior night at Reedley High School, and the last player introduced, is the first to score for the Pirates. It's also Jack Welch's first career basket.
I want to cry. We didn't know anything about it, so it really took us off, by surprise.
The reaction from Jack's classmates is driven by love. Jack's so adored, they voted him homecoming king this past fall.
He deserves to be homecoming king. You want someone who represents your student body and someone who exemplifies everything your school stands for, and that's Jack.
For 3 years, Jack's been a devoted member of the Reedley football, basketball, and baseball teams. Thursday marks the first time he got to play.
To see the joy in his face and to experience what all these other boys have experienced for 4 years, he's like any other boy. He wants to participate.
He comes to all of our practices. He brings energy that sometimes our players don't bring, and we feed off of him. So to me, it was the least we could do to have this type of celebration for him on senior night.
No matter what your ability levels are, you can still contribute and be a part of a team, be a part of a club, be a part of a school. I think it's important for these kids to be involved, and Jack has definitely done that. He's just a really true Pirate at heart.
Always positive, always cheering on kids, always coaching kids, even win or lose.
Number one thing is he always has a smile on his face. We could win by 20, we could lose by 40, and Jack's excited, giving everyone hugs, joking around, making sure that we keep a big picture of what's important.
The last player introduced on senior night, that's who you remember most. When it comes to Jack Welch, when it comes to Down syndrome, remember this.
The National Down Syndrome Congress stated it best when they said, "We're more alike than different. All he has is an extra chromosome." He likes doing every single thing every young man and a young boy likes to do. And that's what I would like people to know.
Remember one time, no players.
Can't be more impressed by Jack, his teammates, his opponents there from Fresno High, and all his coaches and classmates at Reedley. Every once in a while, you see something and have to stop to admire,
People are always like, look at that guy with no leg, he's on that ski, you know, and I'm like, that's my husband's like, that's so cool.
When John Cook, or JC, comes ripping down the mountain on his mono ski,
you watch him make these S-turns down the mountain back and forth. It's just poetry in motion.
Every once in a while, you feel something so powerful, it sticks with you.
It's a freedom that you can't really describe until you felt it. And then next thing you know, 2 days later, you can't stop thinking about it. It's just about feeling normal.
It wasn't that long ago JC didn't feel normal, didn't really feel anything.
I always say I was a shell of a person because I really was, you know. I couldn't bring myself to die, I just didn't want to live anymore.
After high school, JC joined the Navy. Stationed in Lemoore, he served 8 years as an F-18 mechanic, loving every minute of it. JC earned multiple honors, including Sailor of the Year. He had a kid. He got married. He was happy. Then a routine surgery to remove a bone spur in JC's ankle didn't work. The wound didn't heal. There were more surgeries, followed by infection, MRSA.
There I was in the hospital Googling MRSA, and it was like it could kill you immediately. And they came in to speak to me and said, had he waited any longer to come in, he would have died.
The Navy told JC his career was over. The doctors gave him pills to deal with the pain. The combination of the two was debilitating.
He didn't leave the sofa. And when I say he didn't leave the sofa, I literally mean like he didn't leave the sofa. He didn't care about eating. He didn't care about taking a shower, changing his clothes. There was no person there. He was just breathing and taking medication to make it through each day.
JC put on 90 pounds. His leg only got worse. After more than 3 years and 8 surgeries, a 9th and final surgery in 2012, doctors were forced to amputate his right leg below the knee. The physical healing had begun, but the mental healing was still a ways off. JC's opioid addiction spiraled out of control. Twice he was arrested. Multiple times he tried to commit suicide.
Basically, it was death or an institution. I was either gonna die or go to jail.
Finally, JC's wife, Cassandra, couldn't take it anymore.
My wife kicked me out of the house. I wouldn't have been able to see my son anymore. I mean, she sent me away and said, you gotta go get right. You gotta go figure yourself out. I can't do anything, you know, I can't handle you anymore.
That day that he left, I said, I love you, and I'm always gonna be supportive of you, but I can't live my whole life like this. We both deserve more. It's probably the hardest thing I ever had to do, but I knew I had to do that.
JC went to get help, and at rehab was introduced to an organization called Our Heroes' Dreams. There, he met other veterans looking for a new passion and got off the couch.
Just to let me know, hey, brother, you're not alone, you know? Just because you're sitting at home feeling like this, a lot of other guys are too.
Our Heroes' Dreams then set JC up with the Central California Adaptive Sports Clinic at China Peak. He'd never skied before, but for the first time in years, JC felt alive, free.
Get a nice powder day, and man, there's no other feeling like it. You don't feel anything underneath you, you just kind of float through, and you don't feel disabled.
Every weekend he's like, can I go skiing next weekend? Do you want to go skiing? And then Devin and I started going skiing, so then it became really cool because it was a family thing. And we hadn't done anything together for a really long time because it was really hard. So that was the first time we were able to do something together, you know?
This winter was JC's third on the slopes. He went to Colorado for a race camp with Paralympians and fellow veterans and brought home a silver medal. He's also brought countless local vets up to China Peak.
Part of me healing is helping other vets heal. And I can show them, hey, this is where I was, this is where you can be now. I'm not saying any way right now I'm 100% better, you know, I don't think we ever are. But we can do things to feel normal again, and you can kind of fix yourself.
Every once in a while, you see something, you feel something that makes you stop, that sticks with you, because you didn't think you'd ever see it again.
I want him to be happy. Like, I want him to love something, and he loves this.
Running a marathon takes a lot of mental and physical preparation. That's why the 26.2-mile trail is typically reserved for adults. Typically. Tonight, we're spotlighting a runner who's not old enough to drive or shave, but he's already an accomplished marathoner who wants to keep running further and further.
So today's a big day. How are you feeling?
I don't know.
You don't
Fine.
know? Fine? So the fact that you're going to be going 31 miles is not at all on your list of concerns?
No.
Alrighty.
Going 31 miles would be out of the question for most runners. 31 miles? Simply inconceivable for most kids. 13-year-old Coda Holman is not most runners, and he certainly isn't most kids.
When I run sometimes, I enter this mode, it's just like boom. Just like I'm gone. There's like nothing can stop me.
Nothing. Not the fact that Coda is Fresno's youngest marathon and ultramarathon runner.
Coda Holman, 8:12 just in the marathon.
And not the fact that Coda's 4'8", able to duck under his fellow competitors, and the smallest in his 8th grade class.
I mean, why would it bother me that I'm small?
He never doubts himself. The idea of failure is not something that comes to him. Whatever the distance, whatever his goals are, he just never doubts his ability.
This all started about 6 years ago, when Coda's mom started running and returning from races with the standard finisher's medal.
Every time I'd come home with a new medal, he wanted to see, what did you get? What does it look like? And he was just like fascinated by these things they would give me for going out and doing a run. What do I have to do to get one? How can I get these? I can run, I can do it too.
At age 7, Coda ran his first race, a 5K.
As soon as we were done with the 5K, he was already wanting to do, can I run further?
The next year, Coda's parents let him try a 10K.
I thought for sure he'll be toast at the end. He'll be tired. As soon as we were done with that one, he was like, okay, can I do another one? Can I do a half marathon?
And so, at 10 years old, Coda signed up for the San Joaquin River Trail Half Marathon. It's a long, tough course. Mom made Coda promise to stay with her, to pace himself.
But there is just the competitive drive in him that even the word of mom cannot stop or suppress, and he literally took off from me in the first mile. I mean, it was literally me shouting at him on the course, like, come back.
He never did. Coda beat more than 2/3 of the field that day, shocking his mom and everybody else.
Who didn't say anything after the race, because at some point everybody either saw him or got passed by him.
This guy's 10 years old and he did this half marathon. Yeah! Get up here, Coda.
Oh, by the way, Coda was first place for the 19 and under age group, the only one in the 19 and under age group, and again, he was 10.
That's more than a mile per year.
I think it was in that moment that I thought, oh, this is kind of different. He's like the only one out here that's under 19, and he's doing really, really well.
From there, it almost became a routine for Coda. Finish a race, stand alone atop the podium for his age group, then immediately ask his parents to go further.
Like when you have that high score on your game on your phone, and you're like, I'm gonna beat it again. I'm gonna beat it again. That's how it is. It's like my high score.
This is how we warm up for a marathon.
Coda ran the Two Cities Marathon each of the last 2 years.
You're awesome, buddy. Makes me cry. Very proud of you.
But the high score is 50K, twice.
This was the Shadow of the Giants 50K.
The first came when he was 11. 31 miles on a trail that had more than 5,000 feet of elevation gain. It's the kind of race even some experienced runners don't finish because it can take all day.
We had to restart the video.
We had to restart. We're at mile 20-something. I don't know. At this point, it doesn't really matter anyway.
When they came through the finish line together and he's like, my mom made me go slow. It was just like cracking me up because I couldn't even wrap my mind around that.
It's all pretty tough to wrap the mind around. A middle schooler who enjoys running crazy amounts of miles, who thrives on hills with a body type that says he shouldn't, and who now has more medals in his room than he ever could have dreamt.
You have that passion for something. It's just like, you don't know why you like doing it, but you just keep on doing it. That's kind of like it is for me.
First time, he said he wanted to do the 50K. I wanted to do a marathon. I'm like, you know how many miles that is? And for him, it's always like, yeah, so what? No big deal, I mean, He would love to do 100K. He would love to do a 100-miler.
That's Coda Holman. He's not like most runners, and he darn sure isn't like any kid you've ever met. Should note, Coda's parents went to a pediatrician to check on any health risks. Doc says there's no reason to believe this would have any negative effect so long as Coda does the training, which he does always with his mom.